one day during practice, one of our airplanes came in and landed, and it hit the island with one of its wings, and it crashed on the deck. I had landed just before them, up in front of the aircraft carrier, so I could see the whole thing happening. It was the pilot didn't get hurt, but it killed two of the crewmen on the deck. We had quite a few accidents while we were practicing these flights. We lost more pilots in training than we did in combat, actually, and that's typical of what happens even nowadays in the military. Otay Mesa, it was just down below San Diego, almost on the border with Mexico, where we were stationed for a while. And we would, again, do gunnery practice out of there, and we had a little free time, so our squadron was assigned to go up to Hollywood and fly in the motion picture, the Fighting Seabees. There were only about 8 of us in the squadron that went up there, but they put us up in the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel there for 2 weeks' time, and we had a great time. It was really interesting. I think John Wayne was in that movie. A reconnaissance work was over Saipan when we first got there. Yeah, that's right. On the 15th, we did strafing work over the landings on Saipan. The evening of the 17th, we had a enemy attack by aircraft just before dark. So they scrambled the fighters that we had aboard ship and took off. The first two that got off shot down two of the bombers that were attacking us, and I was about the 8th one to go off, but I didn't find any enemy aircraft to shoot at, to fire at. But it got pretty dark while we were up there, because it was dusk when we took off. And there wasn't any moon that night. It was very dark. Our ship was bombed, and the back elevator aboard our ship was bombed. I landed on what was called the Midway, USS Midway. I didn't know what ship it was until I got aboard. The carrier I landed on, it had so many aircraft on it that they couldn't take any more. They had to push some aircraft off the side of the ship in order to make room for others to land. In the meantime, our ship had to go back to Honolulu and get repaired. So we had to fly off this the Midway, it was at the time. So we flew off there until we finished our tour at Saipan. We went up to Eniwetok, and they put us on a transport ship there to take us back to Pearl Harbor to join our aircraft carrier. So that was kind of neat duty. We didn't do much of anything but sit around. Had a little cruise. But we got back to Pearl Harbor, they treated us pretty nice back there. They gave us 2 weeks vacation at a resort on Waikiki Beach, actually. we had a real good time there. All the food you can eat and all the drinks you want, and what have you, for a couple of weeks. From Pearl Harbor, we went to Manus Island down the South Pacific, and to Pitaloo Island. It's a small island there where they had a Navy base. And then we didn't know what was going to go on, so we waited there for several days, just trying to find out what was going to happen next. And they finally told us we were going to go on a new operation called King II operation, is what it was called. We again flew escort over a huge group of ships. That there was supply ships and transport ships and all kinds of equipment ships for landings. They told us we were going to go to the Philippines. So we arrived at, actually we went through what they call it then, a hurricane we call them here, but anyway, it was quite a storm we went through on the way to the Philippines. Fortunately, it didn't cause any terrific damage. We went on a bombing mission, and of course the fighters just did escort work for the bombers. They strafed the airfields and bombed over at Dulag, it was, on Negros Island in the Philippines. That was on the 18th. All of these flights off the escort carrier were catapult flights, by the way. Were catapults off the deck most all the time, because they had to line up the planes on the back end of the aircraft carrier, and these were short carriers anyway, so they didn't have room to park many aircraft on there and also be able to take off. The next day I guess they had the landing, so they were going to have the landing that day on the 20th on Lady. So we flew that morning straight gun emplacements above the beachhead on Lady, and covered the landing troops in case any enemy aircraft would come around, but none did. They knew enough to stay away. So that was our assistance in the landing on Lady. Then on the 21st and 22nd, while we flew combat air patrol again over the landing areas, because they were still landing supplies for several days after landing. Flying combat air patrol, we would go up and fly at about 20,000 feet in the division of four fighters together usually, and we would just fly around and try to see any enemy aircraft that might come in.